Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, Field Marshal of football forecasting. We're about to map out the way this college football weekend is going to go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory? Or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? This is college football's Championship Saturday, where the winding road to the college football playoff will finally be straightened up. Now grab your helmet and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. But before we get to the championship, Donnie Brooks, there's one Power 5 school that has a regular season contest remaining that I want to forecast. Louisiana Monroe at Florida State. Hurricane Irma did its dangdest to get in the way of this one, which was originally scheduled for early September. The contest had to be canceled, then rescheduled for a simple reason. The Noles want to go bowling, and a 6th win is necessary. Luckily for the Garnet and Gold, the Maroon and Gold of Monroe didn't have a game scheduled, although many of their Sunbelt brethren are playing this weekend. FSU will pay ULM a bunch of dineros to show up, and the money will be well spent, and the NCAA best streak of 35 consecutive bowl appearances will remain intact. The Generals victor? Florida State. Alcorn State versus Grambling State for the SWAC championship. NRG Stadium in Houston is once again rolling out the SWAC carpet for a pair of familiar foes. Since creating divisions and establishing a championship game in 2014, the Alcorn State Braves have tomahawked their way to a division title and a berth in the big game all 4 years. Broderick Fobbs and the Tigers have also been a mainstay in the SWAC title game, capturing the last two and subsequently playing in Atlanta's Celebration Bowl against the MEAC champ. This year's game will be another good one, with the Mississippi representative getting the upper hand. The Generals victor? Alcorn State. Akron versus Toledo for the MAC championship. Hard to believe, but Terry Boughton is in his 6th season guiding the Akron Zips. Seems like only yesterday he was on the Plains leading Auburn to an undefeated 1993 season. The rubber capital of the world has been patient with the seasoned coach, and that calmness is paying off in 2017. Akron captured the East Division with a 6-2 MAC mark. On the other sideline at Ford Field, Jason Candle's Rockets will be ready for takeoff. Toledo's already notched 10 wins this season, but it's been since 2004 since a Tom Amstutz guided squad won the conference. Toledo won a regular season battle betwixt the two, 48-21, and there's little evidence the score will change all that much in the Motor City. The Generals victor? Toledo. Memphis versus UCF in the AAC championship. In a day chock full of monster conference title games, do not forget about the showcase the American is putting on in Mickey Mouse Land. These two may have clashed earlier in the year, but few knew what kind of year both of these schools would enjoy the rest of the way. The combined records of UCF and the U of M entering the game, an impressive 21-1. Both head coaches are in the news for more than leading their boys to the big game. Scott Frost and Mike Norvell will be moving on to a bigger stage in the very near future. Will the pandemonium of the coaching carousel not be a distraction this week? We'll see when the final gun sounds. The Tigers come to Orlando, focused and ready to shock. The Generals victor? Memphis. TCU and Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. Rematches seem to be a recurring theme this championship weekend. Yes, OU squashed the Toads in that game in Norman. Yes, Baker Mayfield was impressive. And yes, he's likely to have a big game this weekend, which will only aid his effort to capture Heisman greatness. But don't get froggy on the Frogs. Kenny Hill threw for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns in the season finale rout of Baylor. Seems Heisman-like to me. With a short hop from Fort Worth to Arlington, TCU will do their dangdest to make Jerry World more like the Carter. And Coach Patterson will have his troop ready to claim the Frogs' first outright Big 12 bounty. The Generals victor? TCU. Still to come on this championship weekend college football forecast. The Deep South's oldest rivalry takes on a whole new meaning inside the Benz. And will the Miami Hurricanes help their coach get past a bad memory from yesteryear? Those picks are a-coming when General Gridiron returns.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
Howdy, soldiers. This is General Gridiron back with you. Each week, this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the finest radio stations all over the home of great gridiron Goliaths, including WLIL FM 102.7, home of Trading Post in the morning and classic country favorites all day, Farragut, Tennessee. And in Belmont, Mississippi, WRMG AM 1430, your home for what's happening in North Mississippi and North Alabama. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the championship weekend college football fight. Fresno State versus Boise State in the Mountain West Conference Championship. Nothing spells rematch like this one. Just last weekend, these two faced off in Cali, with the Bulldogs taking a 28-17 win. So the MWC championship game needed to be played. And since Boise and Fresno had identical 7-1 conference marks, a dang computer had to sort out the mess of which school would host the title game. Survey says Boise. So round 2 goes down in the Rockies Saturday night. Will the Smurf turf be the difference for BSU, helping them get back atop the conference for the first time in 3 years? Or will Jeff Tedford, yes, that Jeff Tedford who guided the Cal Bears for a decade, continue his miracle work in year 1 in the San Joaquin Valley? Advantage, home team. The Generals victor, Boise State. Ohio State versus Wisconsin in the Big Ten Championship. Is it me, or does Ohio State seem to creep its way into the college football playoff conversation at the last minute? Although the hill to the playoff is quite steep, a chance to tame the unbeaten Badgers will certainly increase Brutus's stock when the committee convenes. But lest you forget, the throng of UW fans flocking to Lucas Oil Stadium ain't coming to Indy for a Buckeye coronation. Their 12-0 Troubadours need to win to probably get them a secure ticket to the playoff. Probably because Bucky has had to scratch and claw for respect all year. And who knows if a 13-0 Wisconsin is a sure thing for the CFP. But it'll sure help. The Generals victor, Wisconsin. North Texas versus Florida Atlantic for the Conference USA title. The Lane Kiffin-coached Owls are a hootin'. They host the CUSA Smackdown on the beaches of Boca Raton. And with a win, the program built by Howard Schnellenberger and now taken to another level by the former Raiders, Trojans, and Vols commander, has a chance to earn its first Conference USA trophy. The Texans come south with their own vision, be meaner than green, and trap the nocturnal creatures in the daylight. Only 2 years removed from a 66-7 beatdown delivered by FCS foe Portland State, Seth Luttrell has guided a nice reversal of fortune in Denton. But this day belongs to the Hooters. The Generals victor, FAU. Miami versus Clemson for the ACC Championship. As the coach at Georgia in 2012, Mark Richt had the perfect opportunity to knock off a college football behemoth, thus winning the conference title and a chance to play for the national big one. But 5 yards, that was the distance needed for Aaron Murray to pass Richt's team to greatness. Now at his alma mater, the affable coach can get redemption, albeit this time against the Tigers. We can assume Alabama alum Dabo Swinney was rather happy Richt came up short 5 years back, and he'd prefer the coach and his Canes come to Charlotte, have a good time, maybe even visit the NASCAR Hall of Fame, even be competitive in the football game, for goodness sake. But when the trophy gets raised and the confetti sprinkles, CU in the Valley will do its part to make Richt miss it by that much again. The Generals victor, Clemson. Georgia versus Auburn for the SEC title. In the final rematch of Rematch Championship Saturday, surprising and rising Auburn scoots up to Mercedes-Benz Stadium as champions of the state of Alabama. Oh, and SEC West winners too. What a job by the Gus Bus, Jarrett Stidham, Kerryon Johnson, and the orange and blue crew. Auburn's rapid rise can be traced to a 40-17 trouncing of number 1 Georgia back on Veterans Day. The Dogs have destroyed all evidence of that pathetic Plains performance and see this SEC Championship edition of the Deep South's oldest rivalry as another way to march to the Natty. Sorry, Ugga, it'll be deja vu all over again. The Generals victor, Auburn. We've already looked at the big title games taking place all across the nation. But hang on to your helmet, there's more just around the corner. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with our rapid-fire picks.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up. please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through this championship weekend's college football showdowns. Now it's time to fix bad hits and storm the field with our rapid-fire football forecast with a few FBS regular season contests still to be played. FIU takes all of the Massachusetts Minutemen's ammo. Georgia Southern runs past Coastal Carolina. Georgia State downs Idaho. Appalachian State skis past Louisiana Lafayette. New Mexico State plows South Alabama. Arkansas State notches the home win versus Troy. And in the FCS playoff second-round contest, Furman gets revenge at SoCon rival Wofford. Jacksonville State spurs Kennesaw State. James Madison stomps Stony Brook. Central Arkansas wins against New Hampshire. Northern Iowa attacks South Dakota State. Sam Houston State 2 steps past South Dakota. North Dakota State embarrasses San Diego. And Utah superpowers Weber State and Southern Utah meet in Cedar City with the SUU Thunderbirds flying on to the quarterfinals. Well, troops, you can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We're all out of picks on this championship week edition of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week. Same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, and YouTube TV. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Just search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be a part of your weekend. General Gridiron is a production of CRM Sports. For more, log on to crmsports.com.
That'll be all.